Hey! You're not my friend.
I'm just kidding with you.
Hey man, who's that weird dude you're talking to, bro?
My friends are here. Oh, cool. So, see you later.
Happy day and welcome to another episode of Nerd Out. I'm your let's do
host.
Take. Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't want to say I.
Take
right.
2.
Happy day and welcome to another episode of Nerd Out. I am Randy and this is Brian. We're here to bring you all the exciting nerd word. First and foremost, we went and saw the Wachowskis' new movie Jupiter Ascending last night, and I liked it the same way I like Fifth Element and Flash Gordon from the 80s and awful cheesy space operas with lots of crazy monsters and costumes. But I will say, it was a bad movie, but I liked it. I liked it like I like Wing Commander. You, on the other hand, it wasn't even cheesy good for you.
Oh, you know, I liked it the same way I like Twilight, which was nothing at all.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, I didn't. You know, it's like it's one of those movies that you watch and you're laughing at it as you watch it because you know it's bad.
Oh no, it's definitely bad.
And like I understand how you could appreciate it for being that cheesy, but with me it felt awkward, cheesy. Like I felt awkward in it parts. Like just the effects were really good, but the character, the bad guys in it were just. They were boners. I mean, they just looked like boners.
No, it was absolutely terrible. Like, I'm not gonna get too much on it. Like, it's one of those movies where
I would recommend seeing it. I am gonna say that.
Really?
I had to see it. Yeah, you have to see it. It's just,
I read a review.
Not gonna change your life.
I read a review that just summed it up perfectly. It was basically, this is obviously not quoting it word for word, but they essentially said it's like one of those movies in the 80s that they would make, the space movies that, like, after Star Wars was so popular, they were just cranking out these space movies with you know, spaceships and creatures, and it was like one of those movies where it just wasn't good, but like it just followed that time period, and I happen to love those kind of movies. But yeah, I don't know if I recommend seeing it unless you like silly space movies with lots of crazy characters. But we'll move on from that, because there was huge news the other day that seriously got me totally cranked up, and that is there is going to be a line of Machine Robo action figures in Japan. And not just action figures, but transformable, like Masterpiece style figures. They're done by Future Action Toys, and they're licensed out to Bandai. I am super geeked. Anyone who knows me knows that Machine Robo is my thing. I'm sorry, Transformer fans. Machine Robo toys, which is GoBots, by the way. I didn't even mention that. That's what we called GoBots in the state. But in Japan, it was Machine Robo.
I was happy for you. I was. I know. Yeah.
They're awesome. They got Leader 1. These are the GoBot names. Leader 1, Spacey, Psykill, Blockhead. Who else? Snoop, which was the Blackbird. And Tank. My favorite was the Leader 1. Psychill's my favorite GoBot, or Machine Robo, but the Leader 1 and the Turbo look great.
I'm really excited for that Turbo. I'm excited for all of them.
Yeah.
I just hope they make them reasonable, you know,
price-wise. What do you think the price-wise? They look like they're about, what, 5-inch scale? Is that what they look like from your picture?
Yeah, I would guess.
So what do you think is a reasonable price?
50.
50? 50 is a reasonable price. Do you know what they're going to cost, though? 80, I think.
Man.
Yeah, I think so.
And the worst, what pisses me off is I'll still get them.
Oh, I'm going to get
everyone. I mean, do you think it'll be as big as a Super GoBot?
No, I think it's going to be smaller. I think a Super GoBot is about, like, 6.5 inches.
So it'll be smaller than a Masterpiece Transformer.
Yeah, I think it's going to be scaled to, like, I think this is just my thought, is the Fans Project Insecticons. They're kind of like a deluxe. I would say they're kind of like a deluxe Transformer.
Do you think we'll get metal in them?
I don't. Judging by the picture. I will say there's one thing that's making me really nervous about that, and that's who's making them. They're licensed by Bandai, but they are being made by Future or Action Toys, and they did the Blue Jet, which was a Machine Robo, and I bought this because, again, I buy anything Machine Robo from the 80s series, and I hated this toy, man. I hated it. it was a parts former. You had to take everything off to get it into the robot. And I'll be honest with you, I just didn't like the design, and it makes me really nervous. However, with that said, Action Toys, Future Toys, they have come a long way since then. Their shit's expensive. I think it's going to be crazy.
I mean, how much is that?
Dude, I think I paid like $80 for it, like 3 years ago. But I think the new ones are going to be smaller than this. I do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be smaller. That's where my excitement is.
I just hope their play value is there.
I do too. I don't know if this is true, but I think I read in one of the Transformer forums that it appears the Fans Project sculptors are doing it, or at least that's what they.
Then it'll definitely transform. I mean, there's no way they can release something like that in today's market that doesn't transform. You know.
I agree. Well, we know they transform. The question is whether they're gonna be like this one where you have to take it apart.
Yeah, I think they'll be like perfect transformation.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
That's got me excited though. I could talk for hours about this, but no one wants to listen to me talk about Machine Robo or GoBots for an hour. Well, maybe they do, but we'll save that as we go because I'm in it to win it, man. Machine Robo all the way. Better than Transformers. I'm just going there, and then we'll leave that open for people to make their own comments on that. Moving on, this is pretty funny. Yesterday we went to before we went to see Jupiter Ascending, we went to Toys R Us, and Brian, who he's going to discuss, bought the Age of Extinction movie Hound, and the lady at the register actually asked him, like, "Do you want to buy insurance for $5.99? It'll make it so you can replace the toy. You got 2 years." I'm just going to say it flat out. That's the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard. Like, I'm not going to pay $6 for a 2-year warranty on a $25 action figure. And on top of that, in 2 years, if you wanted that replaced, you couldn't get it replaced anyway. That's not going to be on the shelves 2 years from now. Like, what are they going to do at that point?
I'd sort of be curious to see what they would do at that point. Would they give you a store credit?
Yeah, but you don't. Who wants a store credit? The point is that you want your toy replaced, right? It defeats the whole purpose. Essentially, you're paying $6 to get $20 back when it breaks. I get the upsell. When you go to a computer store, when you go to like office supply store, they do the upsell. Furniture, they do upsell. I get it. It is a crock of shit in any market you go in. But when you're buying a $25 action figure and they ask if you want to spend $6 to have $2 insurance on a toy, is just absolutely insulting. You didn't seem to be as bothered by it as I was.
I found it humorous. I was like, who's gonna go for that? And they tried to push it hard.
They pushed hard.
They pushed it hard. I'm like,
they even had the other
the manager
right.
was like pushing.
She was like, go into it.
I was like, really? Yeah. Like, what do you mean? Like, okay. I mean, I didn't do it, but I was like, I couldn't even understand their logic on it.
There is no logic. Yeah. It's total crap.
Yeah.
It's total upselling. Anyways, I just thought that was absolutely hilarious. I'll be curious to see how long they push that, because I found it insulting more so than humorous. A little bit of both, but come on, Toys R Us, get it together. No one's paying $6 insurance on a $25 figure, and you're insulting them by asking. Well, let's move on to our first review. What do you think? Go with the review?
Well, let's do it,
I'm gonna start. Yeah, my reviews are pretty simple. My G.I. Joe subscription, next 2 figures came in, and I love my G.I. Joes.
Brian, you ain't no pimp, dude.
Where's my money?
That's my money.
Man, you just jumped, motherfucker.
Anisiyo hanaskiya nusta duni longsta nelan ayo utuna tawon de ko hoelan ge sa ya kon hi de tahne ko hoelu dege ga.
It was such a wonderful experience here with Andy.
Sa ya kon hi de tahne.
And this week or last week I got Muskrat and Slice, or is it Dice? It's Slice. You know, not much to review on the figures. If you like the POC 25th anniversary style figures, they're essentially repaints with new head sculpts. They picked good bodies for these. This is like the Storm Shadow ninja body, essentially, and who knows what Muskrat is. It's probably a mixture of Dukes and whatnot. But they do have new head sculpts. I believe they're done by, what the hell are they called? I can't remember what the company is, but I'll update that because they do a really good job. They're great figures. I love them. I don't know. They probably cost me $20 a piece, but in this day and age, when there's but in this day, there's no G.I. Joes for me. Like I have to embrace what they give me, and they're cool. I like them. Good accessories. I open them. I mean, no point to keep them in the package, even though the packaging is probably as involved as the action figures. But I love my G.I. Joe. I gotta have G.I. Joe. This is definitely something that if I only recommend purchasing if you are a Joe collector and you need your Joe fix. But there's nothing groundbreaking about them. But they are very well done. And head sculpts are new and they look great. Lots of cool accessories. They load up, and I am happy with whatever G.I. Joe I'm getting at this point. So that's me. What do you have for us?
Well, I'm going to start with the Trider G7. He's actually called G7 because he has 7 modes, 2 of which are acceptable, 5 of which are absolutely ridiculous. He's from the Soul Chigoken line. It's not brand new. He's about a year old. I like him a lot. He's heavy. He's clicky. He's got a lot of ratchet joints and stuff like that. He's a really fun toy. He's really simple. Like a lot of the Soul Chigokens are, very, very complicated. This guy transforms in like 2 seconds, which I like. And he has a pretty decent jet mode. And, what I like about it too is it, when you transform him, he's not really going to fall apart and be flimsy on you. He's a pretty solid robot for as heavy as he is. I'd highly recommend getting him at a decent price. I think you can get him now for under $200, which is a steal. And he looks pretty imposing on your shelf. So
Yours was, however, a little flawed, huh?
mine was a little flawed.
I gotta say, it's unusual for Bandai to have such an issue.
But you know what? I want to go on record saying I don't think it was Bandai.
You think it was Aunt Patty, huh?
I think you can't use her name.
I can't use her name?
But we already did, yeah.
I didn't know you could say that.
I think Aunt Patty had it packed away, maybe. And I think the box took some damage. So
sorry, Aunt Patty, it's not your fault. We were just blaming somebody.
Still love you, Aunt Patty, and I still love it. I play with it all the time.
But if you could see, I don't know if you could see from there, but there's some chrome wear on the gold. And I got to be honest with you, it would bother the hell out of me.
Yeah, it would wreck the hell out of him.
Yeah, I would have
to. He's a neurotic about stuff
absolutely.
like that.
And it being so flush in the center of the robot.
It's right there.
I would go crazy. That's like my Dan Kuga, the SOC Dan Kuga. Mine is starting to yellow, and I really just would love to throw it in the wall. But
that's one thing. I'm glad I've sort of gotten to the point with SOCs.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I first started getting them, I made them these pieces of like Grail pieces of art,
but
and they are nothing against them. But then I started, like, realizing I'd pick them up and I'd be like, you know what? Nothing lasts forever. It's like a brand new car. It's going to get dinged. It's going to get scratched. And once I started getting scratches and dings on mine, I love them more.
That's true.
I play with them.
But if you get it out of the package, if you have that scratch and ding, you want to...
Yeah, it did suck. That did suck.
But I do agree with you. You do have to accept the fact that you're just going to get some paint chips.
Yeah.
And move on. I think it's awesome. I like it. It's not my favorite of SOCs, but it certainly isn't. I mean, you can't go wrong with any Soul Chigoken. They are all great. And that's end of story.
Yeah, they really are just made to be elite.
Yeah.
Like, the only things that even... Well, I heard that Max Factory
but I've never had
one either. I'm not paying forking
But
up
Max Factory, if you
robot.
hear that and you want to send us a robot to review,
we will do
love it. So Max Factory, prove us that your product is better and send it to us.
And we'll even give it a good review if it's free.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
no way.
Let's pre-sell out.
Oh, screw that. I don't sell out. Max Factory, you got to prove that your product's good. I'm going to move on to Hasbro toy. I got the new Marvel Universe Death's Head, and there's 2 reasons why I got it. One, it was on sale for $4.99, and that's far more reasonable to me than the $10 price tag of a 3/4 action figure. Number 2 is I never thought in my life I would see an action figure of Death's Head. If I'm correct, Death's Head's first appearance was in a Transformer comic book.
It was a UK.
It was a UK
only. It was a UK book. It was what was it? Epic Comics or something?
Sounds right, but yeah, I think it. But Death's Head, he was always such a cool character to me, and it was also, just the time period that I was collecting comic books. So I'm totally into it. Marvel did a good job. The paint is beautiful. The blue is really, I don't know, sparkly. Is that a word I can use? It's very metallic. Yes. I like that better. I like sparkly. But cool accessories. My only beef is good old Hasbro just can't get off this rubbery plastic or rubber. I don't know. I do not like the material it's made out of. But sculpt is great. Play value is good. Articulation, a little limited in the waist because he's got the skirt on. He's sparkly with a skirt. So, you know, if you're into sparkly skirted figures, this is the guy for you. But I got it for $10. That's a steal. I'll be honest with you. Even at $10, just to have a Death's Head action figure totally works for me. So, Death's Head, what do you got?
What do I got? I got, what was this? Age of Extinction. No, it's Hound from Age of Extinction. I've heard awesome things about this figure. And for a while, he was a bit of a chase figure. You couldn't find him. And I've been seeing him everywhere the last, like, month.
He's been calling to you, huh?
He's been calling to me. So I picked him up, and I dig him. I like him a lot. You know, I mean, it's like for a Bayformer, it's a pretty good figure. You know, he's fairly posable. He actually looks like a robot.
You like your Bayformers.
You know, I do like my Bay. Yeah, I know.
Just, you know, Brian got depressed yesterday. We went to Target, and he was ready to buy the Age of Extinction leader class figure. He had it in his hand. We
Prime
saw
leader class.
Oh, what did I say? All right, it doesn't matter. And we thought the price tag said $30 on it. Normally it's $45. We went up to the counter and she rang it up and it said $45. And I was like, no, Brian, you can't pay $45 for that. And you were like scrunched up and you were like, I want to have this toy. You love your.
I was sad. I wanted it bad.
You love your Bayformers.
Well, I'll tell you what. As far as Bayformers go, I'm gonna get that crazy Takara version of it. 100%. Like. I want it bad.
I watched a review of it. I thought it looked cool.
Yeah, and you know what? I have to admit, I have no problems liking Bayformers. I think the movies are terrible. They're terrible.
Oh, they are terrible.
But occasionally, they have a couple fun toys. You know, some of their toys are good. Most are terrible. But I like some of the terrible ones too. You know.
Yeah, you just love your Bumblebee. You know?
I love Bee.
Yeah.
I do. That's the one thing that he improved in this series. Was he made Bee cool.
Yeah,
I mean, Bumblebee was not cool until.
I don't think he was cool in the movie. Beep 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 beep. Roar, whip it, good. I'm sorry. I think
that's the only thing Bayformers puts on the table that's interesting and original is that they make Bee cool. I mean, and it's carried over into everything. I mean, it's carried into like Transformers Prime and everything. Now it's like. It's like the B-bots, you know, like he's the leader and stuff all the time, which is sort of, I don't like that.
Those movies got so progressively bad that I watched the first one now and think the first one is pretty damn good.
Because I hated it when it was new.
It was, I didn't hate it when it was new, but I certainly was like, this is not what I want from my Transformers. But they got so progressively worse.
Dark of the Moon is good though. Sorry.
For the first hours.
I don't know. I like it all.
Right. Well, let's not get in that debate. I'm sorry.
There is no debate. It's bad.
Go back to your hound.
But I love it.
Go back to your hound.
Yeah. And anyway, so I got Hound. I'm playing with him. He's fun. I really love this figure. You know, I got to admit, I'm a little embarrassed, but you know, he's got decent paint apps. I mean, you know, he's got decent paint apps. He's not that kibbly anywhere. You know, I mean, he's decent. He's a real fair figure. Like, you know what? Good effort. I like him a lot.
Transformation good.
Fun and easy, you know, and it's not like stupid transformation, like but it's just right. Honestly, I think it's just right. I really dig this figure. I'm glad I have him.
I transformed before we started this, and I thought it was pretty good.
Just like Evasion Mode Prime.
I still wish I would get one of those. I mean, I not wish I would. I can go get one. I just. Again, have a hard time.
I would get one because when that thing's gone, it's gonna be a big timer.
Absolutely. Yeah. Other than that, reviews wise, I don't have any more reviews. Do you have anything else?
I have one thing to talk about.
Go for it.
Here's the deal. For all you guys out there, which I guess now is no one, but
we got 3 people.
Okay, we got 3 people. Back in 1983, there's a series that came on television.
Tonight is your chance to see how it all began, to relive the excitement that is the most extraordinary miniseries ever. A daring TV journalist struggling to uncover the startling truth behind the aliens' visit to Earth. And a beautiful and brave young scientist fighting for the very survival of the human race. Together, they take you on a fantastic journey to meet the Visitors. Prepare yourself for a television event that's out of this world. Prepare for Next.
And it was a 2-part. It started off as a 2-part miniseries over 2 weeks, and it was called V. And it had one of the biggest cliffhangers ever. Had a year then a year passed, and they came out with V the Final Battle. All right, I loved this show as a child, and you know, in this show, that they had like the visitor blasters, right? And I always wanted a toy of one. So probably about 12 years ago, I found out that they really made one. But and this is it. This is the actual pistol that Mike Donovan would hold and all that. But it was never made as a V toy. It was made as a Robotech toy, and it was made as a generic toy. And I'm going to go on record saying that this was never available in the United States. The reason I'm saying that is because if it were, I would have had it. But like, I mean, you know, I was at the ripe age. My parents allowed me to play with guns, and we had a lot of toys as a kid. And more than anything, I mean, it was a shock to me when I found out, because as a child, I wanted this more than anything. I mean, my childhood would have been different had I had this as a kid. And what's even better about it is it's not just the blaster. It comes with a scope. It comes with a stock. I'm just going to do this really quick. I'm going to edit in more footage later to make it a little better. But, you know, and I mean, you can like literally build the visitor rifle out of this. And it's like, you know, like this literally is like one of the cool, oh boy, almost wrecked that. This is literally like my childhood sweetheart that I never had. So, I mean, I've always loved this design. I used to pretend I had one. I tried scratch building one. I take Stormtrooper blasters and try gluing stuff on them to get this. And to know that this actually existed is just... It was a treat when I finally found it. I was so excited to have this.
Now, did you say they released it as a Brave Star toy?
They did.
But not the whole thing,
in
right?
1980...
Was it?
Yeah, in 87, what they did was they released... That
is cool, man.
Just this in red is a Brave Star gun, and it's called the Tex Hack Sound Blaster.
Nice.
And I did have that.
Yes.
And it like ate me up as a kid because, you know, I could see these ports.
You hear the sounds, dude.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, there's a little. Can
you see the spark?
A little spark.
Yeah, it's sparks.
Yeah, we got a sparkle theme today.
Yes, we do.
Lots of
yes,
sparkling.
we do. And as a child, I always knew that I guessed that they made the rest of the parts for it because there were ports, but I'd never seen it. Like I've not, no pictures, no references as a kid. I looked everywhere for it, and they even had like they had a toy gun that did the same thing as this, except it was like a machine gun, but it came apart everything, and it even said V Defender rifle, and it had a picture of this on it, but it wasn't that gun, and it was just one of those things I always wanted, and finally have it now, and this is one of my prized possessions.
Where was the Robotech market one sold? Was it sold
Canada.
in the U.S.? Canada?
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't available either.
It wasn't in the U.S.?
I don't think so. I mean,
yeah.
I knew this well enough that I would have had it. Like, I guess it's possible, but I've never saw one, and I've been to a lot of toy stores.
Well, considering the popularity of V, it was V for Visitor. It was popular for like a short time period, but it was super popular. The only stuff in the U.S. that they came out with is, I think they came out with like a pair of like sunglasses for kids, and then they came out with a 12-inch doll, which was really
awesome.
Cool because you could rip the human skin off of it, and there would be the lizard underneath, and I think he had the tongue. Was
that Remco?
No, it was LJN.
LJN.
Yes, and you know, they even I think promoted like a smaller set of action figures and spaceships, and they promoted the gun, and the thing is the lifespan of that show, it was like it hit quick and it was really popular, and then it's just people lost their
interest. Because they had like the 2 mini-series, and then they tried a normal series, and it was garbage.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even get through the first episode of it. It was so bad.
I think in Italy it was they made a lot of toys too, but that is cool, man. That is a Grail piece.
This is one of my faves.
That's
it's
sweet.
just one of those things you never see. So I'm quite excited to have it.
My mommy and daddy wouldn't let me have toy guns, so I couldn't have had that. So, you know, it wasn't even in my radar.
Yeah, this was from a time where you could go out with the toy gun in the backyard and not end up shot. You know, it's just different times then.
Those were the days.
Those were the days. We are old as hell. Yeah, we're old.
Yeah,
flat out, we are old.
Back when I was a kid,
yep,
we could take our guns and
we could go take our guns out. Yeah,
yeah. So that's pretty exciting. Anything else?
What else we got? I don't know.
You know, Machine Robo. That's what I got. I'm excited about Machine Robo. You ever see that cartoon? It's great.
I haven't.
It's pretty good.
But I gotta say, I'm a little excited for that.
Yeah.
I hope that they're affordable and readily available.
Even if they're not affordable, I'll be into it. I'm backtracking. Yeah, that's about it for me, unless you have something else.
I have nothing.
That wraps up another wonderful episode of Nerd Out.
That was episode 5.
Was it?
Was it 5?
I think it was 5, but I think number 1 never has been removed from existence.
It is the hidden gem. It's a lost episode.
Anyways, yeah, thank you for watching. And even if you don't like this, if you like it, subscribe. If you don't like, just subscribe. Just help us out.
Subscribe anyway.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Nerd out.
Nerd out.
Machine Robo.
Oh, hell nah. What's up, dog?
Hey, kid.
What?
I'm a computer. Stop all the downloading. Help computer.
I don't know much about computers other than the one we got in my house. My mom put a couple games on there and I played.